I am nothing if not predictable. So it should not come as a surprise that my favorite couple on How to Ruin Christmas is Tumi and Kaya. One thing they have in common, aside from the fact that they are hot, is that they both sleep around. Tumi says to Kaya that fucking around, fucking everyone, is his brand. And he says, you too. And I suppose it's good that they have that, that they are similar in that way. Yet, so I want us to talk about casual sex, also known as hookup culture. We'll keep it focused on heterosexual relationships because unfortunately, that's my wheelhouse. For now. Well, we're moving on now to the side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky. We're moving on to the side. We finally got a piece of the pie. How to Ruin Christmas for the Woefully Uninitiated is a South African romantic comedy series that comes out every year in December. It's currently in its third season with a potential season 4 in December of 2023. Each season has 3 episodes, which makes it great for binge watchers who don't particularly relish setting a 10-season series with 22 episodes per season type situation. It's an ensemble cast, in theory, but for me, it's the To Me and Friends show, and will always be that. It's a show I love, 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 which is why doing this review of season 1 was so much fun. Hopefully, I'll do a season 2 deep dive at some point, but that's it. It really is the To Me and Friends show, so my reviews will only go up to season 2, which is the last time we see Tumi as played by the late Busi Lurai on the show. The season 1 review will be a 7-part series divided into these themes. 1. Casual sex and hookup culture. 2. Tumi and Beauty's clashing philosophies. 3. To ship or not to ship Tumi and Kaya. 4. On cross-class relationships, aka billionaire loving. 5. Love and romance. 6. Patriarchy and mothers of boys. 7. Politics. And potentially 8. Which will be a general mix of everything I loved that will likely be in the form of YouTube shorts. The key themes that will get an in-depth exploration are 1 through 7. So look out for that, and I hope you enjoy it. I'm pretty excited about this one, so let's jump in. Casual sex refers to sexual behavior occurring outside of long-term relationships. It's any act of sexual pleasure between people that is free from any strings or expectations of commitment and or exclusivity. It could happen between partners just once or regularly. It may occur between close friends, exes, casual acquaintances, uncommitted dating partners, or even complete strangers. It doesn't always include intercourse and may comprise any range of activities such as kissing, oral sex, mutual masturbation, and sometimes penetration. So that's casual sex. For me, people like Tumi and Kaya, who by their own admission are in the streets fucking everyone, are a massive red flag. Like, I would run in the opposite direction, and it don't matter how fucking hot they are. So, in an effort to do this new thing where I occasionally check my bias, I decided to dig into the research and see if this was just remnants of my long discarded Christian upbringing flaring up, or if there was anything to viewing hyper engagement in casual sex as a red flag. Here we are. The bad news, which could also be the good news, is not enough research has been done on casual sex and its emotional and psychological effects, and whatever few studies we have are inconclusive and mixed. So if you're out there in the streets like Kaya and Tumi, you live to fight another day. Given that the science is not conclusive, what we're left with is what I think, how I feel, and whatever the little research there currently is says. So, full disclosure, I grew up Christian and was a Christian for a long time. The good news is, like George Carlin, I saw the light, so that's behind me. Still, I bet some things remain. They decrease with every year, for which I am immensely grateful, but some things stubbornly remain. I say this to make it clear that I am aware of the distinct possibility that some of that sex bad, sex only for marriage thing may yet persist in me, though I doubt it. Still, I will concede, completely erasing beliefs that were instilled in you as a child is borderline a lifetime undertaking. Good. Let's start. everything wrong with casual sex. Loneliness. Let's start with loneliness. There's no doubt in my head that there is a link between casual sex and loneliness. Human beings are relational. We deeply desire connection with other people. If there's something that keeps us separated and breeds loneliness, it's the capitalist neoliberal environment we live in. First of all, we're always working. And when we're not, we're always tired. We're always stressed out and anxious and worried about whether we'll survive, whether we'll be able to meet our needs. We're always stressed. We've been convinced that we're in competition with each other, so we no longer see each other as comrades, but as people competing for whatever scarce resources there are. There are no third places and social spaces where we can just hang and not be forced to spend money on nothing. Did I already mention how tired and stressed we are all the time? These things are not conducive for building community and relationships. So we're lonely. God, we're lonely. And we're sad and tired and anxious all the time. All the damn time. So because our need for emotional connection is not met, our need for community is not met, we take whatever human engagement we can get, and that's casual sex. Just a few minutes in the company of someone else, in the arms of someone else. Just a few minutes of somebody else touching you. One study found that while both men and women engage in casual sex, they both desire a more romantic relationship. So, hookup culture is just us settling for what little human contact we can get in this cruel, cruel world. That's not something to celebrate. That's a sad, sad side effect of living in a capitalist society. What's even worse is casual sex fails to satisfy this innate need for deep and lasting interpersonal connection. So it doesn't even come close to fixing the problem, the pain we're trying to use it to soothe. Disposable bodies. Casual means feeling or showing little concern, lacking a high degree of interest or devotion, and done without any serious intent. Let's focus on feeling or showing little concern. Careless. I don't know about you, but if I'm having sex with someone, I want them to show some concern. Show some feeling and care. We are animals. Of course we're animals. But we don't need to fuck like them, just responding to some inner urges without any concern for each other. Like, how? Casual sex reduces people to these disposable objects that exist primarily for your pleasure. Toomey and Kaya casually talk about all the people they fucked and how it didn't mean anything, but now because it's them, it means something. It's special. This idea that you can use and discard all these other people and have it not mean shit, then when you meet this special someone, suddenly your thing is special, is just such bullshit. You don't get to use anybody like that. The fact that movies and romance novels insist on making this a thing is infuriating. He was just fucking everyone, and now that he's found you, sex with you means something. It's not just whatever crap he was engaging in with all those other people before you. This view of people as disposable and available to be used for your pleasure until you're done and ready to move on is just another extension of the capitalist mindset and its exploitation and extraction ethos. Sex means something. When someone gives you access to their body, it means something. Treat it with respect. It's not just a stopover, just a body for you to use. I hate that romance novels and movies make it seem like an indication of true love that the man no longer feels the need to use and casually discard women like he used to in the past. He's found this special one who's changed everything, so obviously it was those other women who didn't have that magic pussy or something. Fuck this idea that we can just use people. Objectification and patriarchy. There's this widespread view that engaging in casual sex is women taking back their power and exercising their agency, where before all these societal factors at play kept women shackled. That argument can be made. Still, we're operating in a patriarchal society where men feel they have rights over women's bodies. I'm using male examples predominantly because there's this view among men that they are owed sex or something, And when they don't get it, everyone pays the price. See insults and mass shootings. Somehow, sex and women's bodies are somehow men's rights. It's why Jordan Peterson had the balls to say that because women often flock to rich men, laws should be enacted, I guess limiting how many women rich men can get so that even the lowly men can get the leftover women who don't get the rich men. It's why a conservative commentator, Rebecca Solnit, quotes in her Guardian article, had the wherewithal to suggest that there's nothing ridiculous about sexual redistribution. These are people who will not hear one word about wealth and property redistribution, but when it comes to women's bodies, suddenly redistribution is not a dirty word. Rebecca Solnit talks about women just as bodies to men. She says women as bodies are sex waiting to happen to men, and women as people are annoying gatekeepers getting between men and female bodies, which is why there's a ton of advice about how to trick or overwhelm the gatekeeper. Men are under this illusion that they deserve sex and women's bodies. You cannot divorce sex from that. Even relationships where there's mutual affection and respect, patriarchy finds a way to rear its ugly head. How much more in relationships where we insist there be no feelings and where sometimes you don't even know the person? What are the chances you will be physically and emotionally safe? Speaking of safety, casual sex is a risky affair for women. Straight men don't have to think twice about meeting strangers online, but women do. Plus, women are often at a greater risk of violence from men they know, whether from casual encounters or serious relationships. There's always the risk of date rape too. In fact, one of the reasons women report negative feelings after hookups is because they engaged in unwanted sex, as in they felt pressured to do things they didn't want to do. Patriarchal society is so fucked that even women in committed relationships report engaging in unwanted sex. The rates are 70% for people hooking up and 57% for people in committed relationships. As in 57% of women in committed relationships engaged in unwanted sex with their partners. If you're not safe with someone you're in a committed relationship with, what is the likelihood you'll be safe with someone who's keeping things casual? No emotions here. One big no-no when it comes to casual sex is catching feelings. You better not develop feelings or else. Human beings are complex. We are sexual beings with sexual needs, but we are also so much more than that. We are emotional beings. We feel things. You can't just turn that shit off, and if you can, for Christ's sake, you shouldn't. That's some psychopath, sociopath level shit. Participating in hookup culture makes you unconsciously train your mind to ignore and throw away your emotions. I don't care what people say, sex is more than just a physical act, for many reasons, including the fact that we are more than just our physical bodies. One study found that even brief social contact creates neurochemical and experiential emotional bonds, and that frequently having to dissolve these bonds, as required by casual sex, may result in a sense of hurt and rejection. It's not healthy to sever yourself from feeling, from your emotions. The emotional aspect of sex brings a further layer of satisfaction, and that can only happen with someone you're in some kind of relationship with. In fact, with some people, this emotional aspect is a prerequisite to get pleasure and satisfaction. You don't have to be married or whatever, but Jesus Christ, you cannot get it with a stranger you picked up 6 minutes ago in a bar. At least I don't think so. I think capitalist society tries to reduce us into these one-dimensional beings. So sometimes you only see yourself as a worker who must increase productivity at all costs. And now when it comes to sex, you only to see yourself as a sex object and not more. You are more. We are more. We shouldn't be forced to suppress any part of us, and that includes our emotions. Media lies, messy feelings. To hear it from media, movies, and even the lives of Tumi and Kaya, hookups are where it's at. Casual sex is liberating and fun as fuck. In fact, if you're not doing it, you're fucking missing out. Or you're some kind of prude. All the cool boys and girls are doing it. This messaging makes people assume that it's easy for other people, and they're the only ones who may not be on board with that idea. It makes people engage in casual sex even when they're uncomfortable doing so. One study found that people overestimate other people's comfort with hooking up. Men, in particular, grossly overestimated how comfortable women are with a wide variety of sexual behaviors during hookups. This mismatch is why hookup encounters are often fraught with feelings of pressure, performance anxiety, and discomfort. 16% of participants felt pressure during a typical hookup. 12% felt out of control when intercourse was involved, and 22% felt out of control when intercourse took place. If you were to go by media messaging, though, these experiences are just fine and dandy. Nothing to see here. Hookups resulted in so many messy feelings for people. In one study, respondents were presented with the statement, "I would feel guilty about having sexual intercourse with someone I had just met." 32% of men and 72% of women agreed. Men suck or don't. Men suck at sex. And sometimes they just don't altogether. They're either just clueless fuckers or they don't care enough to do it right. One study found that in one night stands, only 10% of the women reach orgasms, with men coming in at 64% of them achieving orgasm. Pleasure is not all about orgasms, but come on. Having sex with someone over the course of time helps you know them, their body, what they're into, what they respond to, increasing the likelihood of mutual sexual satisfaction. Women are twice as likely to reach orgasm during sex in a serious relationship than in some casual setup. The problem with men is, and there are many, they just don't prioritize women's pleasure. Society doesn't prioritize anything that benefits women, and sex is no different. Even in committed relationships, women still orgasm far less than men. The idea that in this sexual liberation era where men and women have an equal access to casual sex, they have an equal likelihood of that sex being pleasurable is a myth. Men just do not care about women's pleasure. One study found that in first-time hookups that involved oral sex, 50% included only men receiving oral sex, 19% only women receiving oral sex, and 27% both mutually receiving. In a study about previous relationships, 32% included only men receiving oral sex, 16% only women receiving oral sex, and 52% included both mutually receiving. In all cases, men reached orgasm more often. This reminds me of a guy who said he doesn't try as hard to please the woman when it's a hookup as he would if it was a woman he was in a relationship with, which, if we're honest, is not that hard anyway. There's a complete lack of generosity in sexual encounters with men. This is one of the reasons for the orgasm gap. I love what this one woman who stopped hooking up with men had to say. Quote, "There's no point in casual sex until we figure out how to teach men to do it with consideration. Men prioritize their pleasure by treating women like dolls or props to get off from. 99% of men you have casual sex with are just using you as a human fleshlight. You don't get the full spectrum of the sexual experience. They don't caress your body, touch your hair, which is part of what makes it fun. I have so much more time to myself. I'm much less willing to be disappointed by strange men. I feel that my body and my desires matter in a real way, since I only have sex with partners who I know are committed to my pleasure. My orgasm rate has skyrocketed, and so has my self-esteem. It's not that we don't want more sex, but who wants bad sex with selfish partners? We've had society's version of sex positivity, and we're choosing to keep our legs closed. Investing in casual sex with straight men means investing in their orgasms more than anything. We're now choosing to invest in ours." End quote. I think sex is too intimate to be casual. I think it should be playful and affectionate and vulnerable and collaborative and generous. I think you should only do it with people you like and have a measure of respect for, who like you and respect you too. That respect, I think, is critical for women. Someone you can tell what you like, who cares enough to try and make it happen for you. I think when you're having sex with someone, it should mean something, because they're a person and they're special, and you cannot just be using them to get some endorphin rush. We don't use people like that. We value people. We have to value each other. We fucking have to. This casual approach to sex is a red flag for me, in both men and women, and in Tumi and Kaya's relationship. You don't have to be married or even be in a committed relationship, but there has to be something more to it than just banging everybody to get off. We can't use and discard each other like that until we meet that person for whom sex now means something, and so we take it seriously or value it. In a capitalist society that does not value us and our humanity, we have to value each other, and that includes our bodies and sex. Thanks for stopping by. Until next time, remember who you are. Love life, love people, stay limited.